Awesome. We are live. So excited. So here we are again, Natalie, Tanya, and I, and we are continuing with our Best of You tips. Today we are going to talk about the best tips to stay motivated with your health and fitness goals. And if you would like additional tips, if you have questions, you just want additional support, please click below in the description. There's a link to join our Facebook group, The Best of You for 2016. We want to help you make 2016 your best year yet. So today we are going to be sharing with you 5 different tips for staying motivated with your health and fitness goals. I have them written down so that we can stay on track here. So the 5 tips that we're going to cover are motivation, and how motivation just isn't enough. Number 2, nourishment, nourishing your body. Number 3, resilience. Number 4, variety. And number 5, accountability. We're going to go into detail with all 5 of these things. So we're just each going to have a conversation about that and what that means to us and how we've been able to stay on track with our health and fitness goals. And we all have very different goals. Tanya's a mom of 5. Natalie loves yoga. I'm a bodybuilder, so we all have very different fitness goals, and we're going to bring all that knowledge and what's worked for us to help you guys make 2016 the best year. So number 1, we'll get started, is motivation and why motivation isn't enough. Who would like to start us out?
I can actually talk a little bit about that because this was a place where I struggled hugely. I had no motivation to work out at all. But one thing that helped me hugely is making it a part of my day-to-day. So I literally pencil in and schedule time to work out. And that in itself, I just simply make it a part of my day, and I show up and I'm motivated because I've made that time. So often we tend to let our day just kind of sweep us by, and before we know it, we say, oh, I'll get to it later, I'll get to it later, and then we never get to it. So making that little adjustment of fitting it into your schedule, hugely motivating to make it happen.
I completely agree. That's, for me, if I don't have it in my schedule and know when it's going to happen, 1, I stress out and I never get to it. And then when I do, for some reason, I'm not even motivated to do it. So for me, I have to wake up early. And I'm not a morning person, so if that's what you come up with and say, I'm not a morning person, neither am I. I could sleep 12 hours every single night and sleep until 8 or 9 every morning, but I have to set my alarm, whatever it is. If you're getting in a 30-minute workout, set your alarm 30 minutes earlier, and don't press snooze because you will lose confidence in yourself every time you hit snooze. So my biggest tips for that, 1, set your alarm across the room. Across the room, so that you have to get up and lay your clothes out the night before. I do this every single day. My clothes are laid out and ready for me to get up and put those workout clothes on. It's really hard once you have them on to be I'm not going to use these. And then the other thing that I do every morning right after I put on my workout clothes, I'm stumbling out of bed, I'm a zombie, is I go in and I use my pre-workout, which is my Energize, and I have that first thing, because I know that once I take this, there's no going back. I'm going to have to get that workout in, and it really does help wake me up. It doesn't give me jitters or anything, but it gives me that motivation I need to get that workout done.
That's awesome. That's so true. Just like you said, you can't go back because you start to feel it, and you're either going to climb the walls or going to do your workout. So for me, motivation kind of goes back to what we talked about last week, and it's the mindset. And in my mind, I have to ask myself in everything that I do if it's bringing me closer or farther away from my goals.
Yeah.
And so if I have a goal in mind, I need to make decisions based on the mindset of how I'm going to get to that goal and not my feeling, because for my feelings, I would not work out. I would not work out. It just wouldn't happen if I just based it on if I felt like working out or not. So I have to remind myself that it's not a feeling, it's a decision. And it's an active decision that I have to do every day, with just like what the tips are that you guys are saying. And then the other thing I can say about motivation when I talk to clients when they're like, well, I'm just not motivated. And motivation isn't really something that you can create. It's not something that someone else can create for you. It's something that is actually, I feel like it's produced by results. So say you commit to doing something, getting up at 5 a.m. and getting in a 30-minute workout. After a week, you're going to have enough progress and results that then you're going to then have that motivation of oh, I'm going to get up at 5 so I can do it all over again.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
So we'll move on. Number 2, nourishment. So nourishment for our bodies, our nutrition, all that good stuff to fuel us for, for those workouts, and that will help us stay motivated when you do have more energy. So let's talk about nourishment. Natalie, you want to start us off?
Yeah, yeah. This is another area where I've struggled with, but for me, it's mostly been that I didn't really know how to nourish myself. I was pretty much under the assumption that if I took, a vitamin, if I did this or that, then I was good. I'm fine. And so I spent a lot of time where I thought I was okay, but I was actually definitely in a lot of nutritional deficiency in a lot of areas. So one thing that has totally changed my nourishment daily is simply incorporating my daily superfood Shakeology so that I can make sure that every day I'm fueling myself with the stuff I need to actually be at my best. And it's funny because really most often we don't really realize how good we're made to feel and how energetic we can feel until we feel that way. And so it was kind of like a huge wake-up call for me when I started religiously every day drinking my Shakeology, because it was like, wait a minute, this is how I can feel this way. Like, this is really cool. I actually have the motivation and energy to do my workout. I actually, am more encouraged to do other healthy things throughout the day. So that's a big part of my self-nourishment.
What about you, Tanya?
Well, I'm so glad you brought that up because for me too, Shakeology made that big difference in what I was getting. I didn't necessarily eat bad. I just ate too much. And so just having the ability to have something that curbed cravings, because along with the emotional mindset that I struggle with even in motivation, I am an emotional eater. So whatever feeling I have, whether it's happy or sad, it's revolved around food, and somehow it became, eating became for pleasure instead of for performance. And so my favorite thing about Shakeology is that it just has helped give my body everything that it needs. I think Christy's going to go over some of the nutrients that are in it, and really what it tells your body is, okay, I'm good. I'm okay. You don't need to go searching in the pantry for something to like fulfill your soul. It's all your body's happy. So that was a really big thing for me for nourishment. And another system that we'll go into later with variety too, but it's portion control is really important. And even if you're eating healthy, you might not be eating enough of the right things and maybe too many of the wrong things. So for us, I know personally for myself, portion control was where I needed to kind of bring it all in and really make it an entire like healthy eating mindset, where I know exactly how much protein I'm supposed to eat per day, exactly how many carbs. I used to scoop out rice, and then the first time I tried this system and I scooped out how I would have scooped out rice, and then I compared it with what I was supposed to be eating, and it was like enough to feed 3 people. So for me, it was really important to know in a very simple, I can't count points, I can't weigh things on a scale. It's a simple color-coded, like my kids know what these colors mean and how many we can eat per day. So that was really important, but we can get to that later too in variety.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I think one thing is that our food these days, the chemicals and everything that's in our food is very addictive. And I know because I'm a sugar addict. Like, sugar is my biggest weakness, and it's something that I've had to work on for years and years and years. And you guys know I went 100 days without sugar, and that was huge. I mean, we're talking like if sugar was in a sauce, I'm like, nope, there's sugar in that. Like, I'm not going to have it. Unsweetened almond milk, and people would say, well, how'd you do that? Well, I still had sugar in my fruits, like in natural occurring sugar. But when you have, or for me, when I have a slice of cake, I want a second and a third, and I used to be able to eat an entire cake or like half a dozen donuts. And I'm not kidding. You can look at me. And I put on 30 pounds in a matter of 2 months because I was eating half a dozen donuts pretty regularly. So I had a really hard time with, I guess you could say it was like binging on sugar. And my body, it wouldn't trigger my body to say, you're full, you don't want any more. But when we eat something like a banana, and we have one banana, do we usually go back for two? Maybe. But do we ever go back for three? No. Who says, like, I need more bananas? Or if you're eating something else, an orange or something that's naturally, like, from the earth, spinach. Like, you don't eat a huge thing of spinach and be like, I need more spinach. That wasn't enough. Give me a second serving and a third. Come on, keep it coming. But with sugar, I would do that. Like, I honestly would. And when I got Shakeology, when I first started my business, I started using Shakeology, and I thought, I don't need that shake. One, I chew my food, and two, I'm healthy already. Now, mind you, I was eating a donut and coffee for breakfast every morning. That is not healthy, but I thought I was healthy. And so when I switched it, my daily donut and shake, or my daily donut and coffee to my Shakeology, I started feeling better, but I didn't really notice it at first. It was so gradual. It wasn't like I had it one day and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm amazing. It cured all things. It was like after 2 weeks, I ran out because I couldn't afford to get Shakeology when I started. So I sold things on Craigslist to get the money together, and then I split the cost with a friend because I still didn't have enough money. And so she got 2 weeks of the Shakeology. Like, I scooped out 2 weeks for her. And when I ran out, I was like, I will never run out again. By the third day of not having it, I could tell. I was like, oh my gosh, it was making a difference. By 2 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I was exhausted. When I was having my Shakeology, I wasn't. My body was just getting the nutrients that it needed to actually fuel me throughout the day. And and like Natalie was saying, I thought I was eating healthy. I would go and have a big, like, super burrito that there's beans and rice and meat, you guys, and there were some tomatoes and stuff. Like, it was definitely healthy. And then I'm not joking. This is so bad. You guys were like, she knows so much now, but truly, that's how I thought. And this burrito that was like 2,000 calories, I'm like, this is so healthy. And then I wouldn't eat for 6 hours. But our body does better when we're eating regularly throughout the day. You don't want to be getting hungry. So I eat every 2 to 3 hours. And it doesn't have to be something big. It can be a little snack, but it's also getting that right combination of fats, carbs, proteins, your fruits, your veggies, so that your body can perform optimally. And for me, like Tanya had mentioned, just some of the ingredients in here, when I started going through these ingredients, I actually researched each of them, and I was like, holy moly, I don't get anywhere near that a day. And people can tell me they eat healthy, and I was one of those people that thought I did. And even on my perfect days, like when I follow my nutrition to a T, I'm still not getting this type of nutrition in my body. So this really is, it's my secret weapon. Like, check out the ingredients. There's nothing that compares. And so I agree with you guys all. That's a huge part of nourishment. Both Paul and I use it daily. So number 3, resilience. And what I mean by resilience, we'll go through this, is high intensity in your workouts. So I'm going to start with Natalie, and we'll let her share a little bit about high intensity resilience and what that means for her fitness and nutrition goals.
Yeah. So with resilience, honestly, I love low intensity workouts. I always have. I like more like free flowing, yoga. I'm a huge plyo buff. So I've always been more drawn to that kind of stuff. I am not a cardio person. I hate cardio. But in saying that, I also have goals, and I have things that I'm pushing for, and I have, stuff I want to do with and for my body. So it's very easy to kind of hold ourselves back and say, well, I don't like that, so I'm just not going to do it. But if your goals are here and I don't like that's down here, it's never going to level out. So with resilience, you've really got to kind of like get okay with the fact that you might have to do some stuff you might not like, but that doesn't mean you're always going to not like it. So perfect examples right now, I'm doing a bodybuilding program. And for me to be doing a bodybuilding programs, like I honestly never in a million years thought I would be doing something like that. And guess what? I am obsessed with it. I absolutely love it. And it's taken me to the next level of all of my trouble areas. Like, I hold on weight like crazy in my midsection. It is the first place I gain weight, and it's the last place I'll lose it every time. I'm seeing more results now through this program than I have through anything else I've ever done. So right there, it's like, well, maybe I should have, challenged myself in something I was pretty scared about way back when, so that I could start seeing the results I want to see. So that's the thing with resilience. You sometimes have to just do the stuff that you might not feel comfortable doing right away, but you could end up really, really enjoying it. So it's changed me in tons of ways, because now I'm like, man, give me the weights. I love it. It's super fun. So that's my input on it.
That's awesome. For me, resilience meant or means being able to get through cardio. I actually have a tank top that says cardio is cardio, because I'm the same way, Natalie. Like, I would say before I started any of this and what we've done, I was like a runner. I could run, but that really meant it was like a walk jog.
Yep.
And anytime I got winded, I was like, whew, okay, I'm good. Oh, good. All right, high five. Like, we're done, right? And so for me, it meant, because I can be fat, I'm not an endurance runner. I can't go long distances. I can't do cardio for a long time. So what was very important for me was to introduce shorter workouts that are higher intensity, so I could keep up, so that I could get that initial burst of, the endorphins, or like what Energize helps us do to get through it, whatever that is in your body that helps you. I can do that as long as it's like short and fast. If you ask me to do like an hour-long thing, you're going to lose me after 25 minutes. So for me, it was really important to have that, high-intensity interval training that could be done in a short amount of time, 20, 30 minutes, and then continue to burn calories. Because of the way you've trained your body, you'll continue to burn calories up to like 24 hours. So for me, it's more the addiction of wanting to burn off that bagel that I shouldn't have had, or getting in that cardio, because I am also doing bodybuilding program, and so that cardio is going to help stay lean instead of feeling fluffy. And so it's kind of just, I tell myself, this is part of the process. I have to do it and get through it, and thankfully it's in a short enough amount of time that I can last.
Well, I love what you said about you love yoga and PiYo, and you had never thought about like doing bodybuilding program, but you wanted to take your results to the next level. Like, a lot of people look at me and think that I've always liked working out, and I hated running. Like, I hated it. I would hide in high school when it came to time to run, because I didn't want to run. Like, when we had to take PE courses and you had to, to graduate, I'm like, I'm over a 4.0 student, and PE was the hardest class for me. Like, I would take the easiest teacher possible. No joke. I took the teacher who was the weightlifting teacher, and he really didn't pay attention if you were weightlifting or not. And we only had to run a mile like once a quarter or semester. And I would hide for that 1 mile. I'd be like, oh, I have cramps. You're a dude, so you're not going to ask me why, and you're not going to make me make it up. Like, I literally, that was me. Like, over 4.0 student trying to get out of fitness. And in college, I started to gain weight, and I found running. And again, I wasn't very good. I would do a mile. It was a 10-minute workout. And I was like, yeah, winded. That was good. That was my workout. I'm done. But it was so gradual. And then I ended up completing an Ironman and started loving cardio. So like Tanya, who doesn't love cardio, I ended up loving it. And I actually got injured, and so that put a little bit of my cardio on the back burner. And that's when I found lifting. And I'm like, I'm going to get bulky from this. But I'm like, I got to do something. I got to start building lean muscle, because fat was just, as we age, our metabolism slowed down. And I was noticing that. And fat was going on in my body in areas that I didn't like. I wasn't liking what I was seeing in the mirror. I didn't feel comfortable anymore. So it was really that resilience of trying something new, and I didn't think that I would like lifting. It was actually something to help with my back injury, and I was trying to strengthen my core and strengthen my body overall so that there weren't imbalances. And I feel like weight training and weights, I know a lot of us are doing hammer and chisel, and has been huge because it does help your body have, from not having those imbalances, those muscle imbalances, which as you age, those are the things that are going to keep you from injury. Your muscles are going to protect your bones and your joints and everything else, so that you aren't that person who, 60s, 70s can't walk or can't do certain things that you could do before. So I did it because I was forced to with an injury, but like Natalie, have ended up loving it, and it is a part of something that I do every day. And cardio now for me is harder to get in. And I'm like, wait, I used to do that. I used to do cardio for like hours and hours, but I love the resilience, the high intensity of those shorter workouts, like Tanya was saying, and being able to get them done at home. It's super helpful. Like I go to the gym sometime and we'll do them at the gym, just stream them on my phone, because I was that person that would go to the gym and sit on the treadmill and not see results. And now in 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, high intensity, I can get a workout done at home or at the gym, stream it, and see results from it. So much better results than when I was working out 4, 5, 6 hours a day. Like seriously, I was that person. So next up, variety. Variety can be in your nutrition and your workouts. So variety, what does that mean for you, Natalie, and how has that helped you, stick with your nutrition health goals and stay motivated?
Yes. Okay. This is probably going to be my favorite thing to talk about because I come from the background of being super dysfunctional with my eating. I would go, and I'm sure Zach will hear me talk about this, I would go and eat like a jar of peanut butter a day. I kid you not. Like I would eat all of just one thing for weeks and weeks and weeks, the same thing over and over. And I felt like crap. My energy was horrible. I would just, all around my body would be inflamed all the time. I would feel bloated. It was just really bad. So for me, variety changed everything because I didn't know how to eat. I didn't really know how to balance out, how much fruit do I eat, how many vegetables, and I'm vegan, so I didn't know how the heck to get my protein in. I had no idea. And I didn't understand also how important it is and what protein can actually do for your energy and stuff like that. So for me, I started, like over a year ago, the portion control system now that I do every single day, and that changed everything because I get kind of obsessive when it comes to food where I don't want to, if I'm all in and I have to count and measure and everything, I let it consume me. And then I get burnt out and I'm like, oh, let me binge on everything because I can't handle this. I get really worn out with it. So doing a simple system that I follow now where I don't have to measure, I don't have to, weigh out food and count points and count calories and track my macros all day long on my phone like I used to do. It is so much more stress-free where I feel way more just enjoyable towards food, and I feel like I actually know how to eat. I know how much to eat. I know how often I should be eating, and I know how to eat where it's got that variety in it where I'm not just eating a jar of peanut butter all day and some crackers and stuff like that, so, and it's changed like my entire body too. I mean, we know we need to work out, but you can't just work out and then have a really imbalanced nutritional lifestyle, and that's really what I did for a long time. So especially if you've got those goals where you really are pushing, to change your body and to change your energy levels and stuff, you've got to really focus very heavily on how to balance your body of how you're actually feeling, and that comes in the variety, because if you're just eating the same types of stuff or eating like huge portions and it's all out of whack, you're just going to feel like crap, and you're probably going to have a really hard time getting the results you want. So, and it's sustainable. Like that's the biggest thing with me with the portion system I use is I don't want to ever feel like I'm just on a nonstop diet. I don't want to feel like it's something I have to constantly work at. And this is something Christy and I were actually talking about of when you first have those systems that's teaching you, how to eat and how much to eat, how, all that kind of stuff. Yes, at first it's a system that you need to teach yourself how to do it, but over time it becomes intuitive where it's just a part of your lifestyle. So that was a big switch for me of I don't diet. I just eat according to my goals, and I eat, making sure that it's a part of my life in the long run instead of just being on this nonstop diet trend, So that's how I bring more variety into my life. What about you, Tanya?
That's awesome. So kind of on the same page as you, Natalie, because anytime I heard the word diet, like when you say diet, it literally like sends chills up my spine because
Yep.
if I put the word diet in my head, it means I want to eat like the nearest Snickers bar and I want to go get a mocha frappuccino and I want to eat a huge pile of spaghetti. Like if I tell myself in my mind I'm limited by something, then all of a sudden I want everything. And so the variety to me meant I was actually, like I mentioned before about eating for performance instead of pleasure, variety brought that into my life because I was the same way. It was like I ate healthy, but I would eat the same things healthy, like I would do green beans and rice and chicken, but I would get bored with it. And so then all of a sudden, maybe I'm having green beans, rice, and chicken, and the kids are eating pizza, and I'll have like 3 pieces of pizza because I'm so sick of my green beans, rice, and chicken. So the variety to me was brought in by this portion control system, and it actually is available in a variety of ways if you want just the portion control or if you want it along with a fitness program. But it's really where I start people out, clients that have no idea that, you know, they should be eating 60 to 70% of greens in their diet every day. Like people don't know that. You know, you think you put like a slab of meat and a scoop of rice and a little bit of green on your plate and you think you're okay. So this really helps you figure out how much of each thing you're supposed to have, and you're not limited by anything. If you want to eat, like literally if you want to eat macaroni and cheese, there is a container for that. There is a measurement and a way that you can fit macaroni and cheese into your lifestyle, into your plan for the day. And I think that's what helped me so much because it also helps you like compare things. Like a bagel doesn't fit in, like bagel and cream cheese doesn't like fit in this plan. But if you really want a bagel and cream cheese, there's an allowance for it. There's a way to trade some things, offset, so you're never telling yourself, oh, I can't ever have a bagel and cream cheese anymore. So I think that's really important because the time you tell yourself you can't have something or that your variety is somehow limited, then all of a sudden it's like you might as well, you've already defeated yourself once you say your variety is limited. So I just wanted to give an example because, you know, we don't diet in our lives. We want to eat for pleasure, but we want to eat so that our bodies are fueled and happy, just like Natalie was saying. So, I mean, literally, like, who wouldn't want to eat that? And this is something that's 100% approved. There's nothing in it that is unhealthy for you or, you know, gonna drag you down. Like, you eat this at 6 o'clock at night, you're not gonna feel like, oh my gosh, it's 7 o'clock, ready for bed. There's desserts, there's cocktails, there's so much variety in how we eat. And I think it's really just deciding to make that transformation. You know, stop shopping through the center of the grocery store where there's the bags of wheat thins and the, you know, like different processed foods that are, if it comes in a box or a bag, it's probably not edible. So, you know, if you shop the perimeter of the grocery store, you're making a commitment to eating fresh fruits and vegetables, fresh proteins, you know, clean yogurts and cottage cheese. And, you know, I think somebody told me one time, if it has a TV commercial, you shouldn't eat it.
That's awesome. Yeah, and everything that they said pretty much, you know, was just learning portion controls and how much food to eat, because for years I didn't know. I thought I knew, but I really didn't know. And like Natalie had mentioned, once you start on this system, then it does become intuitive. And I've had so many clients that are like, I was so afraid to start. I was afraid because I've never been good at nutrition and I don't know how to eat and I don't know what to eat. And it just stresses me out. And I got this and it was so simple to follow. Like for once, I'm actually able to go out to a restaurant and eat with friends and family and still be able to eat and enjoy myself, because I like going out to a restaurant, guys. Like, I love eating out. It's the experience, right? And you don't want to be on a diet where you can't go eat out and enjoy time with your friends and family. So that's been huge for me. And like Natalie and I were talking, when I don't have to use the containers anymore, because I can actually and get the right portion sizes and know how many servings of proteins I'm going to have for that day according to my goals. And it's different. It's whether you're trying to lose weight, maintain, or build muscle, it's going to be different for you. And, you know, right now I'm building muscle. That's my focus. And so I am eating a little bit more than normal. I am eating more carbs. I'm still eating more protein. It's a lot of food to build muscle. So that's cool too, because we are able to eat according to our goals, like Natalie mentioned, and still have variety and choices and options and not have to be dieting. And so the last one we'll go through is accountability. And this is my favorite one because this really has transformed my life. But I'm going to let Natalie start.
All right. So accountability. All of this stuff we're talking about, it's not going to be as easy to make a part of your day-to-day life if you don't have that support system backing you. And I say that because that's exactly how I was. I always wanted to make healthy choices. I always wanted health and fitness and overall wellness to just be a natural part of my life. But I didn't know how, and I didn't know how to incorporate it in a way that was super sustainable and easy and fun. So for me, accountability was the game changer because I don't have like a crazy group of friends or family members that are real into this kind of stuff. So for me, it wasn't something that was just, you know, a part of our lives, especially growing up and things like that. So becoming a part of a community where it's a bunch of people who are like-minded, we all are goal-oriented, and we all are striving to just try and make healthy choices and just do a little bit more each and every day to just create the best us that we can possibly do, that's a game changer. And I mean, through this community and through having that accountability factor, it's kind of crazy what happens because you start meeting people that become your friends and you start connecting beyond just, I mean, like sitting here with you guys. Through health and fitness, we wouldn't even be here if it weren't for that. And so it's crazy what it can do to change your life in place.
And we're going to California.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, you know, it's kind of like that compound effect of you start working on your own self, you immerse yourself in a community of like-minded people that are also wanting to do that, and over time, it changes you. Like, I wouldn't be sitting here working from home today if it weren't for that accountability factor. So it's something where it brings the motivation, it teaches you, you learn the tools and the skills that you need to really thrive and create the lifestyle you want to live. So accountability is key. What about you, Tanya?
I think that's really true, and especially how you're saying, because we do have such a community of like-minded people that you might not even have in your own home when you get started. Like, to have someone that maybe doesn't know about clean eating or doesn't know the first thing about doing workouts at home, if we all of a sudden you enroll with us and you start doing this, you might not have the support of your spouse. You might not have the support of your family. It's a whole different lifestyle. So they might think you've fallen off the deep end, but the importance of what you have is the accountability of knowing that you have a successful group of men and women that can support you in this decision, because it ultimately is going to make you the best person you can be. So for me personally, it means like literally changing lives. And like Natalie mentioned, we're all across the country. So I have clients in Louisiana and New York and Texas. And, you know, if it weren't for the fact that we have this little tiny Facebook group of just amazing people, their lives might not be where they are right now. So that's how it helps, you know, as far as clients go or coaches that join our teams. For me personally, accountability means I'm going to show up. You know, we've talked about motivation, we've talked about resilience, we've talked about nourishment. All that's great, but if you don't show up, then it's all for nothing. So because I am a coach and because other people depend on me to gain motivation, you know, like I said, you can't really give someone motivation, but if I'm doing it and I'm showing up every day, it's going to inspire motivation. So that's the reason I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. That's the reason I get my workouts in and I make the right choices 80% of the time when I eat. It's all because I am accountable to other people that depend on me to be their support system when maybe they don't have one or they just need that extra push for inspiration. So that was definitely the key for my own personal health goals as well, just sticking to it and staying healthy because other people do depend on me.
Yeah, accountability is, like, of all of them, I love how both of you said that if you don't have accountability, the rest of it doesn't really matter, because most of the time we're going to give up on ourselves. It's so much easier to give up on ourselves. Like, do you notice if you have like a workout buddy where you're like, hey, we live in another state and I know Tanya does this, we're all getting up at 5 a.m. and we're all going to do a workout today and we're all going to text each other. They get up because somebody else is counting on them, where when it's just us and we're not meeting anybody, it's easier to cancel on yourself than it is somebody else. And that's what this business has brought for me. Being a coach and leading other people, I always want to be leading by example and being the best me. That doesn't mean that I'm perfect. That doesn't mean that I know everything. I just shared with you guys all, I didn't like fitness, and I was still eating a donut and coffee every morning for breakfast. And, even as a coach, I was eating a whole entire cake. But when I started putting myself out there and sharing my journey with other people through social media, and it was just my goals. If I put out there that, hey, I'm waking up tomorrow at 5 a.m. and I'm going to get in a workout, you knew I was going to do it because I put it out there. It wasn't just in my head or in my calendar. I put it out there, and so I knew people were watching me. Even if people didn't like and comment, I knew they were watching me. Is Christy somebody that follows through on her word? Is she somebody that we can trust? And I felt like I was being judged by putting it out there, so that actually helped hold me accountable. And, we have a team now of thousands of coaches all over the U.S. and Canada, and I want to lead by example and be the best leader possible. My results started improving, and my accountability to my fitness and health goals started improving when I realized there were a team of people that I didn't want to let down. And that really changed my life. Like Natalie said, we work from home. Years ago, 4 years and 9 months ago, worked for somebody else and was miserable and was depressed. And I wanted a change. I wanted something different. I wanted to be able to help and inspire others, because who doesn't? Who doesn't want that feeling? Like, it's pretty amazing when someone messages you and says, you've changed my life. You were a godsend. I don't think you realize how much this means to me. When you get those messages, you're like, oh, heck, I'm getting my workout in today because I'm not letting that person down. And being able to take that and create a full-time income, work from home, retire my husband. We're both home now, and we get to enjoy life and get to pay that forward and help others, teach others how to stay motivated in their health and fitness goals, teach them how to stay accountable to their health and fitness goals, how to create an income working from home, working on their health and fitness goals, holding them accountable and inspiring others. So the accountability piece has completely changed my life. Being surrounded by like-minded people raises me up. We are who we surround ourselves with, and you hear that all the time. But for the longest time, I don't really think that I understood it. I don't think I understood the meaning of that. And, being able to surround myself with the dreamers and the doers, Natalie and Tanya and the rest of our team, who we've created this freedom for ourselves, and we want to be able to help others through their health and fitness goals and help them create that same type of happiness and freedom in their own lives. So those are our 5 tips. I hope they've helped you. Please join the link below. Join us in the Facebook group. It's completely free. Join, ask questions. Let us know what other things can help make 2016 the best of you. And we'll be back here next Tuesday with our next round in the series. Hope you guys all have a great day.
Have an awesome day, you guys.